The Return of the Troll God. The first thing Aizen does, soon as he comes back at the end of this chapter, he's like, don't you have 2 more keys to unlock me? And he walks through the darkness and he has already undone everything. He's already free. Kubo. Now, this just, wow. The ending. The ending alone, man. Seeing the Troll King Aizen finally freaking back. Seeing his face at the end of the chapter. And him just starting off just trolling. Just trolling. That, just enough said. That was too epic. This chapter was straight up too freaking epic. Because when you introduce Aizen, and when you bring him back into the series, that is when things starting to pick up. Like, seriously, just, let's be real here. All of us are happy to see Aizen because this means great things are about to happen. And to see Aizen finally back and him trolling once again right at the end of this chapter is just too damn funny. Just way too freaking funny. So, I just want to take a moment to say, I like the title of this chapter, The Return of God. That's a really good title name for this chapter, because you could take it in 2 different ways. You could take it as Ukitake is taking the place as the Soul King in this chapter, and you can also take it as Aizen coming back, the Troll King God is coming back. And so to see how the chapter title is called The Return of God, you could place that title on Ukitake and Aizen. I like that. I really do. You gotta love how Kubo added that title. Very nice title. Now, the cover page of this chapter, usually I don't talk about cover pages, but I have to when it comes to this chapter, because the cover page of this chapter was a colored cover page, and I just love the way it looks. You get to see Aizen bound up and all that, like, yo, that's just the cover page of this chapter of Bleach. That's the shit right there. That's straight up the shit. So, the chapter. Pretty much very simple. Once again, it's a simple chapter of Bleach. It is. There's 3 main things you can pull from this chapter. For one, Ukitake takes the place of the Soul King, and you see how his body is pretty much deteriorating, like his body's shrinking out like he's dying. And you have the second part, like right in the middle of the chapter, we find out that Bulk, he's not almighty when it comes to the Soul King, so he has a weakness. The Soul King is Bulk's weakness. Bulk cannot determine the future when it comes to the Soul King. So very interesting on that. And then the third portion of this chapter is with Aizen being set free. Now that alone just makes this chapter 10 out of fucking 10. Me being a fanboy, just 10 out of 10 on that, because it's just like, damn. I mean, I'm a big Aizen fanboy, and to see how he was, like, the freaking panel when you see Aizen shaded, like, half his face is in darkness, you see his eyes coming through the darkness and all that, he's like, you have 2 more keys, don't you, to free me? Like, he only had, like, 1 key. Like, you see a bunch of these keys laid out in this chapter, and we find out, like, there's all these different keys that undo, like, certain parts of his seal, and he only had 1 key undone, like, his mouth, for he could be able to speak. We come to find out, after 1 seal was undone, he was free. But then he goes off and asks, like, hey, you got 2 more, don't you? So, that's pretty much the chapter. It really is. It's a very fun chapter. It sets up for what's going on, because, I mean, you have Urahara, they're about to use the Spirit Pressure Amplifier to be able to open the door up to the Soul Palace. That's also what's going on in the chapter, but that's pretty much what's been going on for the past couple chapters, so it's kind of, you know, just a status update with this chapter, just letting us know that the door to the Soul Palace is still ongoing, it's still going on, all the captains have made it in this chapter, and they're about to open the door, and as long as, you know, Ukitake holds on, and he continues to be in place as the Soul King, everything should be fine. But if Bulk decides to go AWOL and just attack the Soul King, then yeah, I mean, it will be back at square one once again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, how do y'all feel about this chapter? I mean, how do you feel about the, you know, conversation of what Bulk said to the Soul King? There was a lot of interesting information you can pluck out of that part when it came to this chapter, and I wonder what it's going to lead up to in the next couple of chapters, because it's definitely something we should probably really think deeply on, because what Bulk said when it came to him not being able to use his all-seeing eye almighty ability against the Soul King, and on top of that, the way he talked about the right hand of the Soul King, are you feeling kindness towards Soul Society once again? Just stuff like that. How do you feel about that conversation? You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.